Hey, what is going on, you guys? Jay on the Segway. Today's video, I'm going to show you guys the differences between the Action 4 and the Action 5. I don't want to do low light performance, but I'll do it for you guys, all right? Show you guys the testing equipment. So I'm going to use the Sony base. This is for my ZV-1. It's like the little remote control tripod. We got this little base plate here. We got these little things here to screw the cameras to them. And there's going to be slight differences in the heights of the cameras and the widths because the lens is over here, this lens is over here. If I was able to put this lens exactly in front of this lens but still record both cameras, then we'd have exact, right? So, but we're not looking for that. We're looking for the visual quality in both cameras. Both cameras are set to high, 4K, 30 frames per second. There's a lot of benefits from the Action 5 over the Action 4. There's a lot of people, I guess there are people who online are saying, oh, don't buy into the hype, or the Action 4 is still better than the Action 5. This is just another visual test for you guys to look at yourself. We're pixel watching, okay? When you guys make YouTube videos, think about why you're making the videos. Matter of fact, let's get off this cell phone and get to the cameras. Okay, so something interesting here. Both cameras are set to the exact same settings. They're both on video mode, and let me close the garage. They're both in video mode, and I have them both on 10-bit normal. But what the Action 4 just did to me, it just went to 8-bit normal. So now the Action 4 is at a little bit of a disadvantage because it is recorded in 8-bit coloring versus the 10-bit on the Action 5. So this scenario should look a lot better on the Action 5. I assume, until I tell you guys that I've changed the video mode, that this is what it's going to be throughout this video in daytime recording. The Action 4 will go down to 8-bit when you are recording in 4K 30 frames per second. When you drop that down to 2.7K, I believe, the Action 4 will stay in 10-bit normal, okay? But this is how they look. Both audio, I literally cloned both cameras. They are at the exact same settings. Audio settings is on stereo for both of them, and wind noise is off. I turned the wind reduction off on both cameras because we don't need it right now in this truck, and I don't think it's very windy outside. So, as dash cameras, this is how they're going to look, all right? So we have the sun behind us. This is how they both look, both still in the same settings. I assume that the Action 4 is still in 8-bit coloring, while the Action 5 is on 10-bit normal still. That doesn't really matter because we're not doing color grading here. We're just recording videos and uploading them. But this is how they look in these types of areas where the visuals can be challenging for these cameras, right? When you put them in scenarios like this where there's a lot of foliage, you know, trees, bushes, all that kind of stuff, that can be challenging for the coloring and the bit rate. The bit rate is going to be information. How much information does the cameras grab in the video? You know, while they're out here looking like my eyeballs are looking, they're grabbing information, all the little details. Look at them. We'll pause it right here. Okay, and as you can see, we're going into a shaded area. Just look at the bright areas, look at the dark areas. Remember guys, we're pixel watching. When you pixel watch, these things matter. When you're making a fun video, these things don't matter, man. No one's watching a fun video that the visuals is decent enough where they're like, oh man, that video quality looks like crap. None of these cameras video qualities look like crap to the average viewer. People want to be entertained. They do not want to be looking at, oh my gosh, super high quality video. Some people do, but I promise you a majority of people do. For example, if you are not in your home, if you're not watching me on the big screen, it's a cool little trail, by the way. Not a very long one, but it's a pretty cool one. If you're watching this video on your cell phone or tablet, go in your settings, top right on the YouTube, right? Hit quality, video quality. What's the settings on that? Is it at 4K? Because I'm recording this and uploading this in 4K. Are you watching me in 4K? Chances are, if I wasn't making this video about video quality and you changed it because you want to see how it looking is best, you probably weren't watching this in 4K. So keep that in mind when you're making content. Know who your audience is. Notice anything different with the video now? Any difference? Mind you, I'm not doing any color grading in this entire video. I'm just going to upload it how I see it. So the Action 5 Pro has this thing called, I think, HLG, high log gamma or something like that. It's kind of like HDR, basically. It's like DJI's version of HDR. This is how it looks in a challenging scenario. Like I said, I mean, you just look at what's going on around me. Look at the shadows. Look at the bright areas. HLG mode, right? This is 10-bit also, by the way. HLG mode, it's like you want to use something like this when it's brightly lit everywhere. So like if you're moto vlogging, you're riding on a beautiful sunny day, you're vlogging on a bright, beautiful sunny day, you put it in HLG mode, it brings out the colors, it brightens up the colors a lot more. So let's go back to normal mode. Let's talk photos, okay? Someone's mentioned, oh, the Action 5 Pro is faster than the Action 4. No, it's not. Connectivity, it's faster, but when it comes to turning them on using the quick capture, no, it's not. But let's take a couple of photos. Let me show you guys how they compare in photos, and I'm going to put the settings the exact same. Looking at the differences between the Action 4 and the Action 5, there's a $50 difference, guys. $50 difference. Obviously, that's when it comes to price. The Action 4 is a really good camera. Now, there's some differences. There's something that the Action 4 has over the Action 5, and that's going to be bit rate. The maximum bit rate, that's maximum. Now, I really don't know what determines, without Googling, I don't know what determines the fact that what's the deciding factor on if the camera's gonna be using the full bit rate range, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you might record like a 2.7K video and it might have a higher bit rate than a 4K video that you've recorded. So I don't know what determines how much bit rate the camera is going to push for when you're recording, but the maximum for the Action 4 is 130, and then you got 120 for the Action 5. Now, other cameras like GoPro pushes around 120, 130 bit rate, if I remember correctly. When I do upload the Ace and Ace Pro cameras or the Ace Pro 2 camera footage, I'll see the bit rate usually around 100 to 150. So, you know, does it really matter? I'm gonna leave that up to you. The Action 5 is shooting up to 40 megapixels. Is it a true 40 megapixels? It's kind of hard to tell when they literally use the same lens. So how it's getting 40 megapixel cameras is probably doing some processing. It does have a more advanced processor. They say that the maximum of operating range, and this may be true still, for the Action 5 is like 240 minutes versus 160 with the Action 4. To me, that's to be determined, because from what I am seeing, we got 75% battery on the Action 4 and 86% on the Action 5. Both of them started fully charged, plugged in. I will let you guys know that the Action 4 battery is a lot older than the Action 5's. So, I mean, if you're buying brand new for brand new, they'll probably be a little bit closer. But the Action 5 nonetheless will more than likely still be a little bit better on battery life compared to the Action 4. Remember, I have the settings on the exact same. The bit rate is not the bit rate. The settings are on are the exact same. The brightness of the screen set to the exact same. So I'm trying to have them at the same specs so you guys have the best comparison as possible. Which camera's doing a better job, man? Okay, let me know in the comments below. Something I forgot to mention with the Action 5 when it comes to the photo modes. Action 5, you can have this camera do 3 pictures for every 2 seconds. Like, you have that flexibility. You can do the 4:3 aspect ratio and a 16:9. You can do that with the Action 4 as well. The Action 5 allows you to you can change the bit. You can go from 8 megapixels, which is something you want to use when it's like kind of like low light settings. The lower the pixels, the lower the megapixels, usually the lower the light, basically. So if it's really bright outside, shoot 40 megapixels, but it can only do 40 megapixels in a 4:3 aspect ratio. Otherwise it'll be 36 megapixels, and you can shoot that with 16:9 or 4:3 aspect ratio. So let's talk about audio quality. Okay, the internal microphones on both of these cameras are 16-bit. Okay, just in case you guys want to know, 16-bit video audio recording. The Action 4 can only connect to one DJI wireless mic. Doesn't matter which one it is. It could be the Mic 2, it could be the Mic Mini. It can only connect to one microphone at a time. The Action 5, being that it has Bluetooth 5.1 versus Bluetooth 5.0 on the Action 4, you can connect to 2 transmitters at the same time, or 2 microphones, however you want to call them. So that could be a plus for you. But me personally, I've never recorded a video where I needed 2 microphones. People who do a lot of interview style videos, and then, you know, maybe you'll be using a Pocket 3 for that, right? But the Action 5 could get that done. Same thing for the Action 4. But you use 2 microphones if that's your style of recording. Like, if you always have a partner with you, you want to have them mic'd up, you can go on ahead and get the Action 5 because it'll allow you to connect to 2 microphones. Motovloggers, perfect example. Some of you guys with cool exhaust sounds, maybe you want to put a microphone in your pocket while you're riding and have the microphone facing towards the rear of your motorcycle, so, you know, allowing it to pick up the exhaust sounds of your motorcycle, and then have the other microphone in your helmet. You guys might benefit more from the Action 5 Pro because it allows you to do that. You can use the 2 microphones versus just one with the Action 4. Look, you decide. Do you really need it? So both cameras, I'm in a pitch black room right now. So any light that you see on my face is from the screens of the cameras. This is how they look. Now we're gonna slowly transition into a brighter scenario, okay? Where we're gonna get in Rodney. We're gonna open the garage door. I'm gonna turn the interior light on. Okay, so if you're in your car and you're vlogging at night, or you're doing some night recording and you put your interior light on. Now I do have a pretty decent LED light in there, so, but it's actually projecting the light off to the side. As you guys can see, it's projecting the light basically to this area down here and not on my face. So these cameras are picking up any kind of a light that's in the area, and this is how they look. Now the Action 4 doesn't have a dedicated night mode for nighttime recording, so you're basically going to manipulate the settings and let it go. I had the ISO allowable to up to like 6400. That's the highest. It can go higher, but then it starts to get real grainy, and you don't want grain in your footage. It might be even grainy now. So the DJI Action 5, however, is on a dedicated super night mode and 4K 30 frames per second. Sorry, both cameras are 4K 24 frames per second right now, and this is how they look. So what do you think so far? Now what we're going to do is we're going to transition. I'm going to show you guys a dash cam view so you guys kind of have an idea. Once again, I do have custom headlights in this car. I do have 5000 Kelvin off projectors off Morimoto. We have your dash cam mode right here. Who's doing it better? So right now I'm walking down a really low light street. This is how it looks. Basically all the lighting that I'm getting is coming from the little sides of the houses. This is how this type of scenario looks with these cameras. Let's move to a different area. So this next scenario is going to be this little somewhat of a dark alley. We're going to put the camera on me so you guys can kind of see the differences, who's doing this conversion, who's doing this transition better. All right, we're going to show you guys the wall. We do some pretty nice drawings out here, or painting, should I say. Yeah, that's how that looks. So in your opinion, which camera did it better? I mean, does it even really matter? They're so close to each other. And if you look at them individually as individual cameras, they both actually are good. They both get the job done. There's like, better is relative, really. As long as you can get the job done with what you need to get done, that's all that really matters, man. Buy the camera that you want. Don't let someone else tell you which camera is better. Better is relative. I may think the Action 5 Pro is better. You may think the Action 4 is better. So what is better, really? What does that even mean? Just buy the camera that gets everything you need done, and make good content. Jay on the Segue, man. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video. All right? Peace.